I was nearly 1,000 miles away in Phoenix when my phone vibrated against the smooth glass of the co-working table. Motion detected. Living room. I opened the app expecting to see a package drop-off or maybe the cleaning service. Instead, I saw my parents, Linda and Robert, standing in the center of my sanctuary with a stranger holding a clipboard, some contractor I'd never seen in my life. They weren't watering the plants, they weren't checking on the house, they were holding a tape measure against the glass wall of my hydroponic garden. My mother's voice came through the speaker, tiny and distorted, but unmistakable. Ethan needs the space for his content studio. Just take the wall down. Hannah won't make a scene. She'll just accept it. She was right about one thing. I wouldn't make a scene. I would make a war. I didn't scream. I didn't call the police. Not yet. That would have been a temporary fix for a structural rot. I needed total demolition. I closed the security app and opened my travel portal. I booked the next flight out of Phoenix Sky Harbor, one way. I wasn't going back to visit family. I was going back to liquidate a failed investment. And I knew exactly when to strike. Ethan wasn't known for discretion. For weeks, he had been posting about a massive reveal coming up this Saturday at 2 p.m., a grand opening of his new content house. He wanted lights, noise, attention, validation. He wanted to show the world his success. Fine. I decided right then I would give him exactly what he wanted. I would be his surprise guest. The flight to Portland took just under 3 hours. I didn't spend a single minute crying or mourning the relationship I thought I had with my parents. I spent it working. I bought the Wi-Fi package, opened my laptop, and started pulling receipts. It was time to organize the archives. I created a new folder on my desktop and named it simply The Ledger. Then I began dragging files. 5 years of bank statements, Venmo histories, screenshots of text messages, agreements for loans that were never repaid. There was the $3,500 for his camera setup that ended up in a pawn shop, the $6,200 for the online trading mentorship course that turned out to be a scam he didn't research, the $9,000 for the car deposit because he needed reliable transportation for job interviews he never attended. The total blinks back at me on the spreadsheet, $112,800. That wasn't brotherly support, that was embezzlement. My parents hadn't just enabled him, they had facilitated the theft of my future to fund his delusions, and now they were literally measuring my walls for demolition. I stared out at the clouds shifting beneath us. For years, I had treated my family like a charity case, convinced my success was a resource I owed them. I thought if I gave enough, they would finally see me. But looking at the cold, calculated numbers in the ledger, I realized the truth. I wasn't a valued family member. I was an asset they were stripping for parts. I closed the laptop and grabbed my phone. There was one person who might still be on my side. Maya, Ethan's fiancée. She had called me 3 times the day before, leaving voicemails full of frantic breathing, trying to warn me about something. I had been too busy to listen. Now I understood why she sounded terrified. I typed a message. I saw the security feed. I know what they're doing. I land in 2 hours. Don't tell them I'm coming. Meet me at the airport. 3 dots appeared instantly. Then her reply. Thank God. I have documents you need to see. It's worse than you think. I turned off my phone and leaned back against the seat. The anger burning in my chest cooled into something heavier, sharper. I wasn't afraid anymore. I was looking forward to the confrontation. They wanted to break down my walls. Fine. But they forgot I was the one who built the foundation. And I knew exactly where to place the charges to bring the whole structure down. I sat in the rental car 3 blocks from my own driveway, watching the digital clock tick toward 2. My laptop was open in the passenger seat, the ledger glowing like a crime scene report. 5 years, $112,800, and counting. There was the $18,000 for Ethan's brand launch party, him buying tables at a club full of strangers. There was the $7,200 for his emergency rent, the time he said his roommate stole his share, only for me to find out later he hadn't had a roommate for months. Countless transfers, $400, $900, $1,500, bleeding me dry slowly, quietly. I closed my eyes and pictured my house, especially the sunroom I had converted into the hydroponic garden, my sanctuary, my escape. I had spent months calibrating nutrient cycles and LED spectrums. It was the one place where I felt truly at peace, surrounded by the hum of water pumps and the scent of basil and mint, a system that demanded patience, care, consistency, everything my family had never offered me. and they were going to tear it down for ring lights and a neon sign that said, Ethan's Universe. They wanted to replace my temple of silence with a factory of noise. For years, people had asked why I did it, why I kept writing the checks, answering the calls, rescuing him from every self-inflicted disaster. Only now did I understand the mechanism. It wasn't generosity, it wasn't love. It was a trauma response, fawning, appeasing, buying safety. Growing up, I learned affection was conditional. If I wasn't useful, I wasn't seen. If I wasn't solving a problem, I was the problem. So I learned to compensate. Paying their bills became paying for my place in the family. The $112,800 wasn't a loan. It was a survivor's tax, and the subscription had expired. I closed the security app one last time. I could see them moving through the house, laughing, dragging my grandmother's restored armchair onto the damp Oregon grass as if it were trash. They thought they owned me because I had spent a lifetime letting them rent me. I shut the laptop. It was time to go home. I parked at the end of the block and stepped out into the damp Oregon air. My driveway was full. Ethan's leased sports car parked sideways across 2 spaces, my parents' SUV sinking its tires into the lawn I had spent weekends aerating. The front door stood wide open. Bass-heavy music thumped from inside, rattling windows that had never seen that kind of disrespect. I walked toward the house. My grandmother's vintage armchair, restored with money I hadn't had to spare, sat abandoned on the wet lawn. A half-empty can of energy drink rested on its arm as if it were nothing more than garbage waiting for pickup. My jaw tightened. I stepped inside. My mother, Linda, stood in the foyer directing 2 of Ethan's friends carrying a massive green screen. She looked energized, almost radiant, the way she always did when orbiting Ethan's whims. "Careful with that," she chirped. "We need perfect lighting for the stream." She turned, saw me, froze, then shifted to annoyance. "Hannah, what are you doing here? I thought you were in Phoenix until Tuesday." "I came back early," I said flatly. "Wanted to see the renovations." "Oh, don't start," she snapped, waving me away. "We're just rearranging a few things for Ethan. He has a huge event today. You should be happy for him. He's finally making it." "Making it?" I said, "by knocking down my walls?" "It's just a wall, Hannah. And those plants, honestly, it's wasted space. Ethan needs room to create. You're so uptight. You should loosen up." I walked past her into what used to be my living room. It was unrecognizable. My couch gone, my decor gone, everything replaced by beanbags, tripods, cables. And in the center of the chaos stood Ethan, lit by a ring light the size of a tractor tire. "Yo, what's up, guys?" he yelled into his phone. "Welcome to the crib. This is the new HQ. Crypto charts, gaming setup, everything." He turned, saw me, and faltered. Only for a second. Then he pasted on the influencer grin. "Yo, look who it is. Special guest appearance. My sister Hannah just flew in to celebrate the launch. Say hi to the stream." He reached toward me, but I stepped back. His camera was still rolling. Comments scrolled wildly. Perfect. "I'm not here to celebrate," I said, looking straight into the lens. "I'm here to evict you." Ethan laughed, nervous and brittle. "Classic Hannah, always joking. Guys, I'm not joking." I reached into my bag and pulled out a folder. "This is a cease and desist." Then I lifted the stack of papers inside. "And this is the ledger." "Stop!" My father, Robert, barked from the kitchen doorway, face flushed. "You're embarrassing him. Put that away." "No." I turned the camera toward me. "For anyone watching, my name is Hannah. I own this house. Ethan doesn't live here. He lives in our parents' basement, and everything he's bragging about was funded by the $112,800 he stole from me." The music cut off. The room stilled. Ethan's face drained of color. "Turn it off," he hissed. "Turn the stream off." "Why?" I asked. "Don't you want your fans to see the real you? The one who borrows money for rent and spends it at clubs? The one whose mommy helps him break into his sister's home?" I opened the ledger. August 22nd, $3,500 for camera equipment, never used. October 9th, $6,200 for a business that doesn't exist. January 3rd, $9,000 for a car deposit. Where's the car, Ethan? My mother grabbed my arm, nails digging in. "You are ruining his big moment. How can you be so selfish?" I stared at her hand before lifting my eyes. "Selfish? You tried to demolish my home while I was out of town, and I'm selfish? We were going to tell you. It was supposed to be a surprise. Like when you surprised me by giving him my college fund or co-signing his loans with my credit? Ethan lunged for his phone but fumbled. It clattered to the floor, still streaming, thousands of viewers watching our family implode. Perfect. Before anyone could speak again, the front door opened. Maya walked in. Ethan brightened, desperate. "Babe, tell them to stop. Tell them—" "I'm not here for you," Maya said, voice shaking but strong. She held a manila envelope. She stepped beside me. "I'm here to end this." "Maya," Ethan warned, "don't." She opened the envelope and pulled out a thick legal document. "Do you recognize this?" Ethan squinted, then panicked. "Where did you get that?" "From the glove box of your new car, the one you claimed you bought with crypto gains." She held the document toward the camera. "It's a lease agreement for a $67,000 SUV, and the co-signer isn't you." My father leaned closer. His eyes widened. "That says Hannah." "Exactly," Maya said. "He forged her signature because his credit is destroyed." My breath caught. I snatched the paper. The signature looked like mine at first glance, but the loops were wrong, sloppy. Ethan sloppy. "You forged my name? You stole my identity?" "It's not identity theft," Ethan shouted. "It's just a cosign. I was going to pay it off. It's part of the brand." "It's a felony, not branding." But Maya wasn't done. She pulled out 2 more sheets. "I ran a credit check on everyone in this house." My mother blinked. "What? Why?" "Because," Maya said, "you have 3 credit cards maxed out in your names." My father looked confused. "We only have 1." "Not anymore." Ethan opened them, using your social security numbers. You're $40,000 in debt and in default. Silence fell, thick and suffocating. My father's phone pinged, credit alert. His face drained. "You stole from us," he whispered. "After everything we gave you?" Ethan backed away, shaking his head. "I was going to pay it back once my course launched." "Your course?" I said. "You bankrupted your parents. You stole my identity. You tried to destroy my home. That's not entrepreneurship, Ethan. That's predation." My parents crumbled, finally seeing the monster they built. "Get out," I said. "All of you, now." My mother sobbed. "We didn't know." "You didn't want to know." They left, broken, stumbling, shattered. Maya stayed behind. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "You told me when it mattered," I said. She nodded and walked out. The house fell silent. The ring light glowed like an interrogation lamp. I picked up Ethan's phone. The stream had ended when the battery died, but the comments would live forever. I walked to the glass of my garden wall. It was still standing. My sanctuary was untouched. For now. Not one more person would cross that boundary. I called the police. 12 minutes later, they arrived. I handed them everything. The footage, the ledger, the forged documents. They approached Ethan. He tried to lie, argue, plead. Then Maya handed them the physical lease. The officer looked at him, then at me, then pulled out the handcuffs. "Ethan Carter, stand up, hands behind your back." My mother screamed. My father begged. They turned their rage on me. "You ruined this family," my father spat. "You sent your brother to prison." "He sent himself, and you helped him pack." They threatened homelessness, bankruptcy, blamed me for everything Ethan had stolen from them. And I realized accepting reality would mean admitting they raised him. Blaming me was easier. "You're now trespassed from my property," I told them. "Come back and you'll be arrested too." Their faces broke. I didn't. They waited for me to crack. I didn't. They left. I locked the door with a click that sounded like liberation. 3 months passed. The glass wall stood strong. My hydroponic garden thrived, mint brushing the glass, basil thick and fragrant. Rain pattered softly outside. I poured tea for Maya and my Aunt Denise. Real family, chosen family. "They lost the house," Denise said quietly. "They're telling everyone you stole their retirement." I waited for guilt. None came. "Let them talk," I said. "It's the last thing I'll ever give them." I walked to my tomato vines. A dead leaf clung near the stem, draining life. I snipped it clean. I finally understood. Family isn't a right. It's a responsibility, a choice, a privilege earned. I wasn't losing a family. I was pruning rot so I could grow.
I changed my number, I said. They can't reach me anymore. Good, Maya whispered. Peace suited me. My home hummed with life again. No ring lights, no shouting, no invaders. I wasn't the invisible bank anymore. I was the gardener, and my garden was finally free. If you've ever had to prune a dead leaf to save the tree, share this story and make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends, and comment your perspective or the lesson you took from this story.